Welcome back to the Shadow Gallery. We're now at part 5 of this week's new comics, bitches. And we just left off talking about the Shadow #1. Now, as you know, I've been looking forward to this for quite some fucking time. Ever since I first heard that they were bringing the Shadow back, that they bought the rights to it, that Dynamite Comics bought the rights to the Shadow, or acquired them, and even more so when I heard that Garth Ennis was going to be writing it. What basically Ennis does, like I said, is that he's taken the elements that Walter Gibson gave to the Shadow, which was, Walter Gibson is the man who originally created the Shadow, which is that of the, kind of sleuthsmanship, but this, this very, mysterious, man of wealth, a student of science, and master of other men's minds. He takes these elements of this brutality, the twin 45s, that, nothing can stand in his way, nothing can possibly harm the Shadow. And he takes the elements of Lamont Cranston, the wealthy, ne'er-do-well, carefree playboy, and enhances those, but also puts on this twist where he is helping out the U.S. government mostly just because he wants to, not because he can or that he should. He obviously can and obviously should, but he wants to. He wants to get involved because it's something to do. I mean, really for him, Bruce Wayne, the Batman, these are all, all of these characters that came out of the pulp era are almost mirror images of the Shadow. Batman being the most specific one, except of course for the fact that Batman doesn't kill, but he did originally when he was in his infancy, in the early Finger Kane stuff, he was a killer. Or didn't mind if people died. Now, obviously, Batman's a lot different. And good. Because he doesn't deserve to be a killer. It takes away part of who that character is. But the Shadow he's a butcher. And that's part of the final conversation between him and Margot after, I'm assuming, kind of post-coitus, where he, basically, he says to Margot Lane, look, your hands may be somewhat clean, but only because mine are so dirty. You're an agent for me, just like, and there are references to Harry Vincent and Shrevey or Mo Srebnitz. And again, Ennis has tackled this very interesting idea where Howard Chaykin kind of reinvented the Shadow for the new era back in the 80s, where he took this very kind of subversive, sexy, and very brutal side to the Shadow, and kind of twisted it and made it more his own. He gave it kind of this more kind of almost science fiction-y element, which I think works really well for his stuff. But other writers and artists such as Denny O'Neil and Mike Kaluta, and people like I want to say Gerard Jones, who wrote The Shadow Strikes for a long time. They took more of a traditionalist approach to the Shadow, the twin guns, basically they had much more of a mind of, well, this is how the character is, and that's it. He shouldn't have the power to cloud men's minds. He should definitely have the girasol, the fire opal, the ring, that helps him hypnotize people, but he can only hypnotize one person at a time. But here, Ennis has taken all these elements, like I said, from the radio show, from he was unseen. He could cloud men's minds, but he wants to be seen. He only clouds men's minds when he needs to move. Now, what Chaikin did, and what ultimately Gibson was about, was that the reason that he seemed as a shadow is not because he could cloud men's minds, but he could move so fast that he seemed like a shadow. Now, Chaikin attributed more of that to science rather than, that he actually has like implants in his body that allow him to move so much faster. He can dodge bullets. He can do all these different things. And I actually had an idea for a shadow, basically an update, not an update, but basically like the Shadow's grandson. I wanted to do a story about that, where you'd basically be following the same kind of path, but from a very different character base. I wish that I could. I've actually written kind of a little story about that, but it'll be a while, before that would ever get published, or it even get put on like my Tumblr or anything like that. But maybe, who knows? The art by Aaron Campbell for this is really, really quite good. The coloring was a little bit off on one of the panels. There was a panel where I thought that I was looking at Lamont Cranston again, but it's really this guy Finnegan. But that was really the only kind of part that I felt was a little bit just a mistake, I think. Sorry, I'm really thirsty all of a sudden. My throat got really dry. But his representations of the Shadow, his drawings of the Shadow, obviously, would I rather have someone like John Cassaday or Jay Lee or Alex Ross on this book? Of course I would. But is Aaron Campbell's art not good? It's very good. It's very, very good. And, he does a lot with it, but it's really Ennis that comes through totally golden here. The book seems a bit short, but again, that's more me wanting more from it. I want to keep reading this book until it goes away, until it's like I just want to keep reading and reading and reading and reading and reading because it's so fascinating. And especially the opening with the horrific violence of the Japanese against the Chinese. That's some really horrifying and disturbing shit. This is just, I couldn't be happier with a Shadow book. So those of you who are out there who've been waiting for me to review the Shadow, it's finally here, it's finally out, and it is fucking fantastic. I could not be more pleased. So, what kind of grade do I give the Shadow? I give it about a 7 out of 5. This is one of the best books I've read in quite some time. That could be maybe me putting a little bit more on it, but still, if you're not a fan, if you're not familiar with or not really a fan of the Shadow, I think you will be. Because this is a much different take than anything you've seen in the past, and as it continues along this, it's going to be, this could be another absolutely brilliant work for Garth Ennis. So, I want to talk to you about a world premiere, something you're probably not going to see anywhere else, and that is this. Batman Death by Design. Now, if you can see really close up there, right up here, advanced copy, not for sale. I got this through Amazon.com. This book does not come out until June. It's written by Chip Kidd, who has done work on Batman. He's an Eisner winner, 4-time Eisner winner. He's done a lot of kind of almost biographical and historical work. Did this huge Peanuts book. Did a book on Alex Ross. Like I said, he's done some other work, but nothing quite so. This is a graphic novel writing debut. And then we have Dave Taylor, who has done some other Batman work in the past. He's done some writing. He's done some art for the UK. Um, comics like Judge Dredd. He's done work on that. He got his start in Marvel UK, and it's basically, it's kind of like a movie serial. You'll see a more extended version of this review on my Tumblr account, because I got this through Amazon through a program called Amazon Vine, which, if you're not familiar with it, it's basically people who have done a certain number of reviews for Amazon were given this opportunity to become part of the Vine program, in which they get things for free, and then they get to review them. And as long as they keep reviewing them, they keep sending the shit out. I've seen them give away refrigerators, okay, $1,000 pieces of equipment. I saw them give away a $2,000 treadmill. I've gotten stuff that's been worth hundreds of dollars, like, just anyway. And it's all free, and all I have to do is review it. It's great. I have Bluetooth headsets up the ass from these people. Every time there's something technology, I have a lot of software. Anyway, it's a great program, but you need to write a lot of reviews for Amazon. I have written a lot of reviews for Amazon. And I'm still writing them. So, anyway, Death by Design, it's basically, like I said, it's a very 30s, kind of a throwback to the early days of, like, the finger cane stuff. The art in this is absolutely fantastic. The art on this alone is worth probably about, because it's all pencil work. There's no inks. There is some coloring, but it's colored pencils. And now I don't know if maybe it's because maybe this is such an advanced copy that it's unfinished, because there are moments where it's like there's color, and then all of a sudden it just drops out. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but we've got the Joker, we've got kind of an interesting design for the Batman. Again, this is a very 30s feel to it. The whole thing, has some really nice little touches, but the book itself, there's some climactic moments that were so confusing to me, I had to actually go back and reread several pages several times to see if I was missing something. Because this is a whodunit, and we never really found out whodunit. It's never really clearly stated, okay, well, this is this person, or this is that person. There's all these different suspects and what's going on here. Because basically, we've got this old, Wayne Central Station, Grand Central Station, if you will. And it's this old train station, this old transportation hub, and it's crumbling. Bruce Wayne, he wants to raise it, and he wants to build something completely new. And this crane collapses while he's in the midst of giving this press conference. Almost kills everybody. Thankfully, nobody's really hurt, but it almost kills Bruce as well, so he puts on his thinking cap, and he goes to work on, well, who could have actually done this? And here comes this other masked vigilante, perhaps, or masked criminal, known as Exacto. Again, it has some of these kind of fun, kind of goofy, almost kind of, Saturday morning serial, newspaper, daily comics, kind of goofy Flash Gordon, the Phantom, Buck Rogers kind of stuff. And that's interesting, but this is a book whose art deserves better. The writing just is not very good. The mystery isn't particularly intriguing. The characters are very stock. And only Batman, I think, is the only character that's written kind of well. So Chip Kidd, I think, should stick more to his nonfiction than his fiction. So yes, this is the first review of Batman's Death by Design, possibly. There may be others. But anyway, that's it for this week's Shadow Gallery. So Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter at Donnelly92274. That's where you'll also see my Tumblr posts. So that's it for this week's The Shadow Gallery. It really was about the shadow this week. So until next time, see ya. Stop.